Hello everyone, this is Take Out of Doom here, back for the final Need for Madness 1 video. So, unfortunately I had actually recorded this video before, but because I was using a screen capture software that it only recorded the first minute and locked the remainder of the video behind a paywall, which obviously I couldn't pay, so not that I had any intention to pay for it either. So now I'm recording this using Streamlabs, which a friend recommended to me. So, today, however, fortunately, while I already did complete the stages, the content, since it's literally the last stages of the game, the content remains the same. So, stage 9 will be the Beach Arcade Dream. We'll be using Radical 1 for this map, racing map, three laps, and the first one, obviously, where you see the final car of the game, DR Monster, the monster truck. So there are a few interesting, little tips and tricks for this map, which I shall show you now. So one trick I would recommend is hold back for half a second and go off to the right. While those cars are busy, running that half pipe, you can just get a straightaway. And while yes, you're running out of power and they already recharge it, do a quick thing like this. Radical 1 has the highest stunting capability, so it is the best at pulling stunts. See, a triple backflip, which no other car can do, except maybe Nimmy. So, and since he has the highest stunting capability, remember, always do front flips in the air when you can. Well, at least if you're trying to get ahead. Get a forward boost. Next, these half pipes. Just ride alongside them. Ride along the side like this. And these so you ride along the side of those half pipes so you don't, so you gain power since it technically counts as a stunt, but you don't lose your speed. Now, those dirt bumps right there, those straight lines of dirt bumps, oh, that was unintentional, but it's recommended that you just, do a stunt off the first one, and then immediately make sure you go off to the left like I did. Because otherwise, if you keep running down those dirt bumps, they'll just keep making you jump and eventually just launch you they'll make you go flying past the checkpoint, which will make you waste time trying to go back through it. And also, if you have someone chasing you, that's a good time for them to, get a few hits on you. So, forward flips for the front boost, forward flips so you get more of a boost. And as usual, ride along the side here. And as I said, go off to the left, run off maybe the first or second one, depending on how you, preferably the first bump. Go off to the left so you can hit the checkpoint like this. Third lap. If you miss the electrifying hoop on the big ramps over there, it's recommended you just run through this one when starting a lap as such. Tilting off to the right a little bit can help you, will help you land in a more favorable position to make this turn. Like this. Well, I chose for a side roll instead of a back roll this time. And we have a clear lead above everyone else, so nothing special. Just a few laps of rinse and repeat. If someone's charging your way, use this mini map here. This is also why I set the arrow to seeking enemies instead of seeking checkpoints. So once you know the checkpoints, you can just use this as well as a map to keep an eye on, all the cars nearby. And if someone's right behind you, you can use the map in combination with the arrow to deduce who's pursuing you. Same trick I mentioned before. And just a few laps of rinse and repeat. It's easy. Or at least it's fairly straightforward. Now, the next map. Stage 10. This is officially the last map. This is the last stage of the game officially. Rather, technically, it's the last stage where you can unlock cars. And as such, and something shared in Need for Madness 1 and Need for Madness 2, the last stage of the game where you unlock DR Monster always has a unique trait. Specifically, Guidance Arrow will be disabled in the stage, which means that the arrow and the map will not work. See, it's called Confusion and an Illusion. It can be somewhat confusing if you do not know where you are. For example, if you get hit and you've lost track of, if you get hit, knocked off course, and you've lost track of where you were, then you're gonna have to just run through the checkpoints all again until you find out which one you got knocked off at. So that combined with this map's very loopy nature makes it a pretty good place for. It also makes it a possible wasting stage. I've completed this stage a few times in the past by using L King and wasting. It's like I go target DR Monster first, slowly grind him down, knock him out, and then take care of the rest. But for the sake of purposes, we'll be going through a slightly easier route, racing. And you see, yep, Guidance Arrow is disabled in the stage. So there's no arrow. The map and speedometer doesn't work. That wasn't the best start. But oh well. And for this map, since you can't use the map, or since you can't use the guidance arrow, there's another trick that can be used here, specifically the Z button, which essentially allows you to look behind you. Radical 1 is the best option for the stage because A, it's fast, B, high stunting allows it to replenish power easily, and C, very durable. Especially, well, at least in comparison to Formula 7. So it gives you a higher margin of error. So another thing here is that in this bit right here, if you landed, well, right now I just overshot this little checkpoint area, so that's that. So otherwise, if you landed before that and if someone's chasing you, you could run a little down the road there, away from that checkpoint. It's like, I'll demonstrate it again. You could run down this road over here if you landed before that, then loop back around. Oh, like DR Monster there almost. To try and throw off anyone pursuing you. Another trick, when going down this area here, run off the short side, and if you're about to, run into that bigger ramp in front of you, do a backflip. If you're going over it, do a front flip. That way you won't miss. You won't go over the checkpoint. General rule of thumb, at least. Now here, I don't like to use the half pipes as much, because you're more likely to get caught. But otherwise, using back arrow key at the same time, back left in this case for the stunts. Now, one more thing. So now this is especially a good time to use the Z key. Okay, only lead oxide's following me. Yeah, just him. So it's not too much to be worried about. Here. You're probably low on power at this point, so just triple backflip. Front flip for boosts. Okay, potentially L King. And technique I'm using here to drift on a whim is essentially braking while turning the arrow key at the same time. So it allows you to drift slightly while, preparing yourself to, to move forward on a sharp turn. So like right here, see, I landed before the checkpoint, so if I'm getting pursued, which I wasn't this time, you could run off this side. Oh, it was a bad mistake this time around. But if someone's pursuing you right behind, you could run forward and loop back around to get rid of anyone pursuing you closely behind. Like L King here, if he hadn't screwed up, if he hadn't messed up the stunt. Actually, that being said, I'm in a bit of a precarious position anyway, so might as well run down this hoop again. There we go. At this point, as you might guess, I don't know about DR Monster, but the rest of the cars have gone from primarily from DR Monsters. I don't know about DR Monster, but the rest of the cars have primarily gone from racing to wasting me. DR Monster appears to be racing, but if I'm nearby, oh, he has no problem trying to trash me right now. Avoid using the half pipes right next to a checkpoint, because if you miss it, it might send you flying, and if you miss it, well, you're likely to get hit by someone. So let's see. Turn right. Huh. L King's chasing. DR Monster's not too far behind. Well, he's some distance behind. Lead Oxide is doing God knows what. Double backflip. And an easy win. Well, relatively easy at least. Just make sure you're keeping an eye on the situation behind you. Use the Z key. Remember, the Z key takes a second to shift to behind, and when you're looking behind, you'll be missing what's there in front of you. So be careful of that. As for the trick I mentioned at the checkpoint by the healing hoop, just make sure you only use that when someone is close on your trail, because if they're some distance behind, well, you're just giving them time to catch up to you. I was just trying to demonstrate it properly. I've used that trick many times before. And now, okay. As I told you, I had already completed this in the original recording, which is completely locked for me now. But now, at this point, you'd see the message, you unlocked DR Monster. Right now. DR Monster being this truck right here. I can see I'd like to say well-balanced, but well-balanced to a high degree. Decent top speed's pretty good, acceleration is high, handling is good, stunts is pretty good. Good enough to get stunts, get at least some stunt on most obstacles. Strength and endurance are maxed. And now the final stage, which is the final party stage, the Mad Party. This is it. Just a dirt bump, a small ramp, and a loop of 2 checkpoints. 10 laps. Each of these checkpoints is considered 1 lap, so just 20 checkpoints. This is it. Like, you can either, if you're mad enough to waste, you can waste. Otherwise, it's primarily for thrashing everyone here. In Need for Madness 1, the obvious choice for this Madfest is, well, DR Monster. However, Need for Madness 2 provides a more interesting arsenal in its selection, which leads to a surprisingly better choice. Yeah, and it's not surprising to be thrown around like this a lot. If you didn't notice already, DR Monster, this monster truck, is very bouncy. Like, the suspension on this, I don't know why, like, I don't think the suspension actually works or anything. Well, it's not like the suspension actually works, but this car is very bouncy. Like, just bouncing at the slightest thing. You run into someone, or something runs into you, you're more likely to just start bouncing on it. And, yeah, I got sent out of the map for a second there. In fact, a likely occurrence when you charge into someone is just you start bouncing on them. And remain at max power whenever possible, because the more power you have, especially at max, the more power you have, the more damage you deal, and the less damage you take. And this spikes at max power. Like, if you're even a slight bit off max power, like, you get a significant, like, it ramps down significantly. And just keep your power maxed and beat him to death. Simple as that. It's actually happened in the original recording. even if you die, as long as you trash them within like the few seconds you have between, you know, the your wasted screen, between the your wasted screen and the and the thing when the game just closes the stage. So as long as it's, even if it's a Pyrrhic victory, as long as it's a very close victory, it doesn't matter if you die. So like even if they trash you, but you manage to send them flying and they die within the second or two, you'd still win, which is funny enough. And now this is the message you see. Congratulations for finishing Need for Madness 1. This stage 17 here, that's a typo thing. That's because they've packaged Need for Madness 1 and 2, so it appears there was a bit of an overlay. The stage 17, Mad Party is stage 17 is for Need for Madness 2. For Need for Madness 1, it's stage 11. So, congratulations, you won at stage 11, the Mad Party. Woohoo! You finished Need for Madness 1. You're awesome. You're truly a radical gamer. Radicalplay.com. Now get up and dance. Well, I won't be doing that. This is like, I don't know how many dozens of times I've beaten this game already. But anyway, that concludes my Need for Madness 1 tutorial video series. I'll be back with Need for Madness 2 fairly soon. Need for Madness 2 has a lot more cars, and they've expanded. So they've expanded the the selection of cars available for you to choose, as well as increased the number of enemies the amount of cars that can play in one level. And as it goes, more cars there are to unlock, more stages, which is why Need for Madness 2 actually ends at stage 17 instead of 11 like this one. In any case, thank you for watching. Hope this was actually, informative for you, or at the very least you kind of understood some of the tips and tricks I've gleaned from the many years I've spent playing this game, especially in my childhood. Like, Need for Madness has been a big, well, not a big part, but it was certainly a significant part of my childhood since I discovered it. So I managed to glean certain tips and tricks, especially with the tendencies of the AIs in some ways. Regardless, though, I hope it was useful to you. I hope you actually, take a look at and give this game a try if you haven't already. And well, comment down below how it goes for you. So take care, and have a good time, everyone. I should say good night, good day, whatever. See y'all later.